Let's talk about how the impact of high crude prices is actually impacting, say, companies like Century Ply, and whether that's getting mitigated by the kind of strong demand that they have been witnessing from almost now 2 years. Keshav Bhajanka joins in on the show right now. Keshav, hi, good morning. Good to have you on the show. Keshav, a many concern for many industries, and I'm sure yours as well, is the kind of spiral up that we've seen in crude prices. Wanted to understand how is it that you're dealing with not just crude, but other input prices as well, spiraling up?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Definitely there is pressure because, as you know, a lot of raw material prices have shot up, whether it's crude, whether it's paper, whether it's timber, chemicals, everything has increased exponentially. And we too are facing strong headwinds due to the same. Having said that, you're absolutely correct. The demand environment is very positive. And I think, for a company, for us like market leaders, being market leaders, we have been able to pass on quite a large chunk to the market in the form of price increases. Yes, passing on the total quantum may take a little bit longer. The horizon might be 1 or 2 quarters. But having said that, the operational leverage that we get due to the higher sales would compensate for the increase in raw material cost.
Keshav, who is right now enjoying the pricing power? There's a time when consumers are enjoying the pricing power. There are times when companies are enjoying the pricing power. When COVID struck us, consumers were enjoying pricing power. Then when demand came back, companies they started enjoying pricing power. Who's calling the shots?
I think right now, to be honest, raw material suppliers are enjoying pricing power to a large extent. If you look at it, most commodities are on fire. And I'm sure that even their raw material costs are spiraling. As such, it needs to be passed on. So I think that a lot of commodity vendors are enjoying that pricing power today. Perhaps not due to profit gains, but due to the fact that their raw material prices have also increased.
Use crude as fuel as an example. If it's expensive and you need to commute, you will still get your tank full. It's not that you will not commute. What happens in your industry when this kind of a raw material surge comes? Does demand get punctured or demand right now is constant?
I would say demand is more or less constant. You see, because of our strong balance sheet, we're in a position to ride out some of these fluctuations perhaps far better than others can. So if you look at it from a short-term basis of a quarter or 2 quarters, during this time period, we can increase prices gradually so that there are no shockwaves felt in the demand. The end customer is able to see these price rises far more gradually as compared to the company. Having said that, for the industry, it is a little more difficult because a lot of people do not have this bandwidth, so to speak. And as such, you would see a far faster increase in the price of goods than you would see for the organized players.
You constantly gaining market share from the unorganized market because that's how your business has evolved. With each passing day, because of your brand and because of the value-added plywoods which you make, you're gaining market share. Is that now getting more and more visible?
Yes, it is. And I think, that has been, like you correctly pointed out, fueling our growth. So there has been a shift. Market share has moved from the unorganized to the organized. And I think we have been the primary beneficiary of the same.
I also wanted to understand how much of your current raw material is imported.
I would say close to 25% of our raw material is imported if you look across all our products. Plywood perhaps would be a lower percentage. MDF would be a far lower percentage, but products like laminates would have a higher percentage of imports.
And are you seeing any major impact on import pricing because of the way the currency is moving, or for that matter, the demand supply scenario as well?
The impact is not so much as on currency. Currency has shot up by about 3% but beyond that, freight has really become a challenge. Freight costs have increased substantially, and that is affecting us. But I think we're hedged, and we've been able to pass on quite a bit of this freight increase or this cost increase to the market as of now.
Okay. Also, Keshav, just wanted to understand that you had given a margin guidance of about 13 to 14% for the plywood segment and about 27% thereabouts for MDF. Wanted to understand whether you're sticking by with it or is there a change in the same?
No, I think we're on track.
Okay, good to hear that. Also wanted to understand, given the kind of strong demand environment that you're seeing, wanted to understand whether there is any, update on the MDF capacity addition or expansion plans and whether you're looking at upping your capacity as of now.
Yes, we have increased, we have already decided on capital expansion in two locations, one in our existing unit in Hoshiarpur and the second in a greenfield project in Gopavaram in Andhra Pradesh. Both of these are on track, and I think the Hoshiarpur unit will be commissioned within H2 of the next financial year, and the Andhra Pradesh unit will be commissioned within H2 of FY 23-24.
Good morning. This is Nantara who's joining in. After almost a decade, you're seeing a very, very real estate boom, right? Today morning, for example, Godrej Properties is talking about massive numbers and the kind of pre-sales is done. Other developers are doing it. One of the biggest beneficiaries would be companies like yourselves, which will see a lot more demand. Can you tell us what's really happening on ground when it comes to demand? You've talked about the price hikes and how you'll try to manage with demand.
I think all of us realize the importance of our homes, even prior to the pandemic. But the pandemic has made it that much more pronounced. People have realized that they need a good space where they can live, work, spend time with their families, and because of that, there's a paradigm shift. Whoever had the resources, had the liquidity, had the ability to purchase a new residence, but was delaying the decision, no longer does that. So I think you must have observed that ready inventory has been selling off much faster than it was before. Someone was telling me a data point that the quantum of units sold has increased by more than 50% since prior to the pandemic to today. So I think that this real estate cycle, because everyone says that the real estate cycle is a longer cycle, it is a 6 to 7 year cycle. So hopefully the bad times are behind us, and this is the start of the new cycle, which should last for the coming few years.
Right, and many those of the stock markets play that big trend, the real estate trend, maybe not with real estate stocks, but then with those that would see benefit like your company. But the other question to ask you is that before the pandemic, we were seeing a big uptick when it came to shared economy, and that include rental furniture as well. Is that making a comeback now? There is no COVID wave that's on at the moment.
I think that there was a slight pause in the same due to the pandemic. Any shared resource was looked at maybe slightly negatively due to the obvious risks involved in the same. But I think that going forward, the scope for furniture in India is tremendous. Today, we're at a fraction of what forget developed economies, but even China, with a similar population, I think their furniture consumption is more than 15 times ours. So going forward, there is massive scope, and I'm sure all segments, whether it is ready-made furniture, whether it is furniture assembled at homes, whether it is rented furniture, all these segments are going to see a tremendous uptick.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. Many thanks for joining us live today on the market. You talked to us, of course, about supply disruptions, commodity prices going up, the rub-off effect that's happening, and any price hikes that will be undertaken.
Thank you so much.